Welcome, everybody, back to the new era of Melanin Mysteries. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the Cookout, cousin. Now, before we dive in, let me give y'all a quick disclaimer about how things go around these parts because I don't want nobody clutching their pearls halfway through the episode, okay? I want y'all to know that I do cuss, I talk shit, and sometimes I might cut up just a little bit and I'm gonna go off on a tangent. That is just how I am. But one thing I am always gonna do is I'm gonna give you the facts. Raw, no chaser. So if that's your vibe, pull up a chair, grab a plate, and stay a while. We would love to have you become part of the family. Now, to my OG cousins, my people, thank y'all for coming back to another week. And when I say OG, that means if you found me last week, baby, you are OG, you family. Because once you're here, you stuck with me. I love y'all and I appreciate every single listen, comment, review, share, and message. Y'all have absolutely no idea how much it means to me. And speaking of support, let me remind y'all that every comment, every review, every share, every repost helps push Melanin Mysteries out to more people. Even something as simple as dropping an emoji can help the algorithm do its thing. So if you enjoy the show, please don't keep your cousin a secret. Now, let me go ahead and get into these announcements real quick so we can get to what y'all came here for, because y'all know I got another messy ass case for y'all this week. Now, first and foremost, July 1st marks 2 years of Melanin Mysteries. Can y'all believe it? And to celebrate, I will be in New Orleans recruiting more cousins into the family, and we will be celebrating all month long. And trust me, when I tell y'all I have some things up my sleeve, just know a time is going to be had the entire month of July. Now, also make sure y'all check out the brand new melaninmysteries.com website where you can connect with me, submit your crazy cousin confessions, completely anonymous, leave case suggestions, and keep up with everything that I got going on because it's always something. All right. Now, let's go ahead and get into today's case because, baby, this one has more twists and turns than a drunk driver trying to pass a sobriety test. Today, we are talking about a love triangle. Jealousy, betrayal, hurt feelings, bad decisions, and a chain of events that would leave multiple children without their mothers. I'm going to tell y'all this case is messy. It is trifling. It's heartbreaking. And by the time we get to the end, I have a feeling we all going to just be sitting there asking ourselves the same question. Was any man really worth all this? So go ahead, secure your bonnet, lay your edges one more time, grab your wine, your edible, your sweet tea, or your coffee, or whatever gets you through listening to people make terrible life choices. Oh, and before I forget, this week's vibe check to get you in the headspace is Jasmine Sullivan's classic, Bust Your Windows. Yeah, y'all know the rules. At the end of the episode, let me know if this song passed the vibe check or if you would have chosen something different. Now, cousins, let me tell y'all what had happened.
You thought this was your Run Club era. Turns out, it was more of a thinking about Run Club era. The good news? Someone's marathon training is about to start. Sell your workout gear on Depop. Just snap a few photos, and we'll take care of the rest. They get their race day fit, and you get a payout for trying. Someone on Depop wants what you've got. Start selling now. Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney Plus.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are...
Gary the Snake.
And your last name?
The Snake.
Dream Team. And new habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working it.
Zootopia 2. Now available on Disney Plus, rated PG.
I was just at home raising my babies and focused on my family. Never in a million years did I think somebody would be so pressed over a man that they would show up at my front door and turn my entire world upside down. So look, y'all, it is May 15th, 2010, and we are in Newark, New Jersey. I'm going to introduce y'all to 20-year-old Nadiyah Venable. This girl is 6 months pregnant. She broke, heartbroken, and pissed off. Not a good combination. Child had phone already been turned off. Her lights is hanging on by a prayer, and the father of her unborn baby has left her and gone back home to his wife. And when I say home, I meant home. This wasn't his ex-wife. This was not his baby mama. This is his wife. I think. Now, let me clarify that because documents said wife. They ain't had the same last name. It might have been common law wife. I don't know, but I didn't find no court documents, but it might have been his wife. We just gonna say she his wife, okay? All right. Now, before y'all start typing emails, let me be clear. Getting dumped while you're pregnant is awful. Getting left with bills you can't pay, oh baby, that's a whole nother type of beast. Finding out the man you've been building a life with has gone back to his wife, baby, that'll have you sit in the dark, listening to Mary J. Blige and plotting absolutely nothing productive. Okay, all I can think of is that not gonna cry. And she done set that man's, Angela Bassett set that man car on fire and waiting to exhale. Classic scene. Now, but even in all of these circumstances, we're going to talk about what you don't do next, because that's basically what happened next. Instead of calling a friend or her mama, maybe a therapist, girl, go into your prayer closet and call Jesus. Maybe even call the electric company to see if they will get you on a payment plan. All of these were options, but Nadiyah decided she wanted to vent to her 15-year-old cousin, Aaliyah. 15-year-old cousin. Now, I need y'all to think about back to the dumbest decision you ever made at 15. Okay, got it? Got it? All right, good. Because somehow two people whose combined age was only 35 years old got together and came up with a plan that was about to ruin multiple lives. Now, we know your frontal lobe ain't even developed until you're 25. So just because you add 15 and 20 does not mean you're going to come up with 35 as a maturity level. No. But anyway, at some point, these two convinced themselves that the real problem was not the grown man that was bouncing between two households. The problem was the wife he went back to. The wife who was at home minding her Black married business. So these two agents of chaos grabbed a couple of small bottles, filled them up with bleach, and went over to this lady's house. And anytime your plan starts with filling travel-sized bottles of bleach, you are already on the wrong side of history. So look, it's about 12:30 on a Saturday afternoon when thing one and thing two pull up. Now, inside the apartment, I don't know, and her name is spelled SHA dash with a capital RON, so I'm not sure if that's ShaRon or ShaRon, but when I was watching Daily Wives, they kept saying Sharon, but I don't think that's that lady's name. I think her name is ShaRon. So I'm going to just go with ShaRon. Now, ShaRon is doing what Black mamas do on Saturday mornings. If you grew up, you a millennial, you know how our parents was. You get up on a Saturday morning, your mama got the 80s music on. My mama used to play Aretha Franklin and Toni Braxton. That was what went on in our household on a Saturday morning. She was getting her kids to clean up, regular Saturday vibes. She got her 3 kids with her, and, none of them had any idea what the hell was about to happen because they life straight went to hell this Saturday afternoon. ShaRon's oldest daughter, she was 10 at the time, and she answers the door. And we're actually going to call her baby girl because her name had been kept out of all public records. When she opens the door, she recognizes one of the women standing there. It's Nadiyah, same woman she's involved with her daddy, her stepdaddy. And she's standing beside her is another young girl. She don't know who that girl is. So they were like, "Hey, is your mama at home?" And she probably felt something was off because she like, if this is my brother's daddy's girlfriend, why this lady at my mama house? But she was just like, okay, I'm gonna go get my mama. And y'all, this is the part that really made me sick because baby girl had no idea. She had just opened the door to a freaking nightmare. So the moment ShaRon gets to the doorway, Aaliyah throws bleach directly in her face. What the fuck? It wasn't no conversation. Can we talk? Just the bleach in that lady's eyes. And ShaRon fell to the floor immediately. She's screaming, hello? She can't see. And before she can even process what's happening, these two dumbasses jump on top of her and start beating her. Now, put yourself in this woman's shoes for just a second, because you at home with your kids cleaning your house, and the next thing you know, you're on the floor, blinded and getting attacked in your own home. So, ShaRon, she's screaming and begging for them to stop, but they don't. Meanwhile, baby girl, smart little girl, she takes off running to get help. Can you imagine being 10 years old and having to make that decision? Like, do I stay and help my mom? Do you want to try and find somebody who can? So while baby girl runs for help, she's leaving her little brothers behind. They were 3 and 6 at the time. And exactly what happened next depends on which report you're reading. What we do know is that somewhere during this attack, a knife enters the picture. Now, nobody seems to be 100% certain exactly who pulled the knife or how exactly it unfolded. But what is certain is that ShaRon was stabbed. I don't know how many times because some reports say that she was stabbed 27 times and some say the number was closer to 60. And for real, I don't care if the number was 27, 37, or 57. Once we get past about 3, we're not talking about self-defense. We're not talking about panic or a fight gone wrong. We are talking about full-on rage. Somebody making a decision just to keep going. Because anywhere but that is an excessive amount of stab wounds. Because I think about it, like they always say stabbing is so intimate because you are literally laying over this person and you're going up and down and up and down, and you have to see the life draining out of somebody. You have to, like, you're hearing them moan and scream and you just keep going. I don't know, like that just baffles me that you can just stare into somebody's eyes and you just keep going. Sorry, I just had a mental picture. Okay, so eventually the attack ends and Nadiyah and Aaliyah leave. Now, somehow, despite being blinded, beaten, and stabbed multiple times, ShaRon manages to crawl into the hallway of her apartment building. And like I said, meanwhile, baby girl had run to a nearby doctor's office looking for help. By the time the EMS get there, the scene is a mess. ShaRon's two little boys are like standing beside their mom. They're covered in blood in their pajamas. They probably don't even know what the hell going on. So the children and ShaRon are rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately, ShaRon doesn't make it. It's just like that, 3 children have lost their mama. And the 2 dumbasses responsible are nowhere to be found. They just thing 1 and thing 2 were in the wind. And ShaRon was pronounced dead about 1:05 p.m. at University Hospital in Newark. So just imagine how short that timeline was, from 12:30 to 1:05, 35 minutes. This lady was stabbed, I don't even know how many times, and passed away in a span of 35 minutes. She went from wiping her tables down with Fabuloso to being dead. I don't even know how to like really process that because that's just such a short time frame. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about the people involved in this bullshit because, baby, every single person in this story got on my nerves at some point. Let's start with ShaRon. Unfortunately, we don't know a lot about ShaRon. Her name was Sha-Ron Moens. What we do know is she was 29 years old. She was a mother of 3. And from everything I found, said that she was minding her own goddamn business. Her neighbor said she was quiet. She spoke when she saw people. She wasn't causing any problems. And she had literally just moved into that apartment building a month before this happened. And now she's dead because a bunch of grown people or semi-grown people couldn't get their shit together. Now let's move on to the reason my blood pressure has been elevated for the last 6 hours. The nigga's name is Ken Jones. And ain't a love triangle in the world complete without some ain't shit man standing in the middle of it acting confused about how everything went left and it ain't my fault. Now, from what I could piece together, Ken and ShaRon had been together for about 8 years. They had 2 kids together. Baby girl was from a previous relationship. Now, whether, again, like I said, legally married, common law married, I don't know because I couldn't find no paperwork. But let's be for real. When you've been together for almost a decade, y'all got kids and you're living together, y'all basically married without the paperwork. And when they broke up, like I said, maybe they grew apart, but I still believe Ken was on some fuck shit. Maybe both. My money is on both. Nah, he was on some fuck shit. Either way, like I said, they had split off. And Ken, who was pushing 40 years old, somehow ends up in a relationship with an 18-year-old girl, Nadiyah Venable. And y'all, I do not care. I don't care. I do not care what the law says. If your ass is almost 40 and you're dating somebody whose graduation gown still got wrinkles in it, I'm looking at you sideways. What the fuck are y'all have to talk about? Student lunch prices, prom, Spirit Week? Be serious. I don't care if they're legally, I don't want to hear it. I'll be 40 in September. I have a 21-year-old next month. I cannot imagine trying to date just the emotional bandwidth. I'm acting like your mother. I know women do it. I know women got kids, but he's 20-year-old. Baby, you can't even breathe my way. You cannot even breathe my way. And I don't like men because to me it's predatory. That is a child. That is still a baby. That girl is young enough to be your daughter. Please make it make sense. I have no understanding and it really makes my stomach turn. Ew. And ew. And fucking ew. Just okay, let me move on. Now about Nadiyah, her name was Nadiyah Venable. She was born March 18th, 1990. Again, not much information about her. I found out she was about 5'2". They said she's quiet. She stayed under the radar. And like most 18-year-olds, she thought she knew every goddamn thing. Typical. Not anything that's surprising. And like I said, we know nothing about her upbringing. I couldn't find any information on her mom, but I did come across her father's obituary. Her dad was Robert E. Fulfer, and he passed away in 2004, and it appears she had a brother, Samid. That's all I could find. The newspapers were very, very close-lipped about people in this case that weren't directly involved in the case. Now, when you 18, you think you grown, you think you know everything, you think you got life figured out, you don't know shit. Because I know when I was 18, you couldn't tell me a goddamn thing. I thought I knew everything. And meanwhile, life is sitting on the corner waiting to beat your ass with a folding chair. Yes, it is. Like my parents, they just, and they don't know nothing. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I didn't. I wish I would have listened at some point. But y'all know how things go. Now look, Ken and Nadiyah, they get together, and from what I read, it's giving real hobosexual vibes. So why is you almost 40 and you can't secure your own place? Why? So apparently the two met at work. What type of job you work? Not from the Deadly Women episode I saw. It looked like it was some little janky stuff that like 18-year-old should be working at, not a 40-year-old. But that stuff they dramatize a lot of things. So I don't know exactly where they worked but they just said that they met at work. Now Ken is one of my favorite words because every time I read a new article on this man, the hobosexual allegations got stronger. This man moves smoother than a tenant application. Now, don't get me wrong. He was helping to pay bills. But if you leave one household and immediately move into another, I'm raising an eyebrow, especially when the girl is 20 years younger than you. And I'm raising eyebrows and then another, and then I'm raising both because now it was said that Nadiyah knew that Ken was married, okay? And it was also said that they had some run-ins. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I can't even say that because women tend to, when it comes to a man, women tend to act a goddamn fool. I'm sure Nadiyah was on some bullshit with ShaRon, and I'm not going to say ShaRon probably didn't entertain it because when you coming up at me, she was probably like, bitch, you get the fuck out of my face, little girl. Go sit your ass down somewhere and go play with your Legos. I don't have time. But there were several altercations between the two. And I blame Ken because you started this bullshit. Now, again, I do blame the women in the situation because you also have a choice to leave this man the fuck alone. But it is what it is. Now,
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Athletic Brewing Company crafts award-winning non-alcoholic beers for those who want to be part of every round. With over 185 flavor awards, they're exceptional NA beers that fit your lifestyle and any social occasion. Summer's full of good times, and Athletic fits right in. Go to athleticbrewing.com to have brews delivered to your door, or find them at a bar, restaurant, or store near you. Near beer. Athletic Brewing Company. Fit for all times.
He's still playing house with Nadiyah. He's still spending time with ShaRon and the kids. You know, still on his daddy duties, trying to wiggle his way back into his family. I miss my family. I want my family back. Well, anyway, that explains why baby girl recognized Nadiyah when she opens the door. Because Nadiyah was not a side chick in the shadows that was hidden, because everybody knew who Ken was sleeping with, and everybody knew who had kids by who. Now, whenever you have a situation where everybody knows everybody, it's always some bullshit right around the corner. So I guess while Ken is over there playing house in Nadiyah, he's also doing what he's supposed to be doing. I guess. I don't know. You know, he's paying some bills, sleeping there, pretending to be committed, doing just enough to keep everybody confused. And like I said, there was tension between Nadiyah and ShaRon, and I really hate seeing women beef over a man, especially when the man in question ain't worth a warm cup of spit. And instead of taking accountability for the chaos that Ken helped create, he seemed perfectly content letting these two women dislike each other while he just bounced them back and forth like a damn ping pong ball. So then Nadiyah, not surprising, she gets pregnant. And according to reports, Ken was not happy. Now, ain't that some shit? How you damn near 40 years old? You know how babies get here. This wasn't an Amazon package that showed up unexpectedly. What do you mean you weren't pleased, sir? Now, according to some reports, some suggest that before the pregnancy, Kim was already starting to pull away from Nadiyah, and then she got pregnant. You know how that goes. And I know this ain't going to be popular, but a baby ain't never fixed a relationship that was already headed to hell. A baby don't keep no man. A baby don't make a man love you. A baby don't make a man suddenly come responsible. If anything, a baby usually exposes every crack that was already there before. And then in this situation, apparently those cracks were getting wider by the day. Because somewhere along the way, Kim was just like, the nigga woke up and was like, I think I'm going back home today. And ShaRon, I guess she was just like, okay, I think I punished you enough. You can come back home. So they're trying to make a fresh start. They move into these apartments together. And then Ken packed up and went back home. And like the stray dog he was, he found his way right back to the porch he started on. Now let's think about how this looked from Nadiyah's perspective. She's young. She's pregnant. She's broke. Her phone is cut off. The lights are hanging on for dear life. The man you live with, the man, the baby daddy, the love of your life, he up and leaves you. And then he goes back to a woman you already don't like. The woman that you've probably subtly been comparing yourself to. The woman you've probably been competing with in your head. Now, before anybody start typing angry comments, let me be clear. Feeling hurt is understandable. Embarrassment, full on understandable. Angry, I understand. Murder, I do not. Because if I was building a recipe for disaster, this is what the ingredient list would look like. Take 2 cups, 1 emotionally immature 20-year-old, add 1 cup of pregnancy, add a 1/2 cup of financial stress, add a 1/4 cup of jealousy, add 3 cups of a man who can't seem to make a decision without ruining somebody's life, mix thoroughly, and then stand back because the shit is about to explode. And now while all this is happening, Ken is at work. At this point, he's working for a moving company. He's about an hour away when everything goes down. And as much as Ken has gotten on my goddamn nerves during this episode, I wouldn't wish that phone call on my worst enemy. Because according to reports, baby girl called him screaming. Now, can you imagine you're at work trying to get through your day and your stepdaughter calls hysterically telling you that her mother has been attacked and she might be dead. And that's a call that'll change your life forever. At this point, like them two are in the wind. And the police are trying to figure out who they are, but they already have a major lead because baby girl immediately identified Nadiyah. She knew exactly who she was. So the only problem was she didn't know the identity of the second girl, who was Aaliyah. So police, they go ahead and put a bolo for Nadiyah and they start looking at her. And we got to remember, we're dealing with a 20-year-old. These kids, I'm trying to tell you, they slower than a crock pot on low. Now, Nadiyah, this is the part where the story just goes from tragic to fucking stupid. I don't know what it is. I'm like, maybe it was me too at that age, but these kids is fucking slow. But Nadiyah decides to walk her ass into the East Orange Police Department the very next day, voluntarily, on purpose, with her own 2 feet. Now, before y'all get excited and be like, oh, girl, she about to turn herself in and do the right thing. No, that's not what she was there for. No, that's not what she was there for. She walks to the police station to report her car stolen. Yes. I don't even know what to say. Like, girl. Okay. Yeah, I told you these kids be slow. Now, I need y'all to understand something, because at this point, your face is on police radar and people are actively looking for you. And your thought process is, you know where I should go? I should go to the police station, report my car missing. And allegedly, there was also an unidentified man. I don't know if he was driving the car, but nothing ever panned out about that. But that was one report I saw that they said there was also an unidentified man. Do what you will with said information. But sometimes I for real swear that being young is a medical condition. Because ain't no way. Now, Nadiyah, she walks up in there to report her car stolen. And I'm assuming she's thinking that, okay, maybe if I report my car stolen, it'll take the heat off of me. I could be like, oh my God, somebody stole my car and did this, that, and the third. I don't know. But she didn't think that out really good. So, listen, Nadiyah, she woke up in there to report her car stolen. And the second she get him her name, baby, game over. I can only imagine the officer sitting there, because I'd have been, if it was me, it'd have been like that one meme where Diddy staring at that dude, and the dude staring at him, and Diddy staring at the dude, and you like, hello. Like, you know what? Funny thing is, girl, we actually been looking. You come around here. Let me talk to you for a minute. And yeah, they arrest her ass right there. Yeah. Because if you know you left witnesses behind you, maybe you shouldn't have went to the police station. Maybe. Now, police, they go ahead and arrest her. Sis is charged with burglary. She is charged with a murder charge. She is charged with operating with a deadly weapon. This stresses me out so bad, because this case is just stupid to me. But after her arrest, the police actually ended up finding the SUV. They said it was on a street called South Clinton in East Orange. And like I said, at this point, baby, the jig was up, game over. The fat lady wasn't just singing. She was halfway through the encore. Now, she was given a bail of $750,000. Who the hell paying that? Nobody. And I did not find anywhere where any family mentioned coming to bail her out. No auntie, no grandmama, no cousin saying, baby, we got you, with nobody throwing a fish fry. And honestly, I imagine a whole lot of folks were sitting around trying to figure out how a fight over a man turned into murder charges. Now, when she was arrested, she did go ahead and give a statement. And this is where the tea gets extra hot. Because she was like, I mean, I planned the attack. She didn't say allegedly or maybe not possibly, but she said I did. But she was like, first of all, I actually went over there because I needed some money. And I was gonna fight. I was gonna fight. But that was it. But if your plan was just to fight, why are we loading bleach in the travel size bottle like we're packing toiletries for a weekend trip? And see, this is why I be struggling, because ain't nobody accidentally putting bleach in a bottle. That requires thought, planning, preparation, intent. You had to go find the bottle and the bleach. You had to pour the bleach. You had to carry the bleach. You had to transport the bleach. And then you had to use the bleach. That's not spur of the moment. That's a project. Now, according to Nadiyah, the fight got out of hand, and ShaRon supposedly came at her with a knife. And according to Nadiyah, that's when she stabbed ShaRon in self-defense. Girl, I have so many holes in your story already, because first of all, self-defense, you rolled up on this lady, you threw bleach in her eyes. Now, imagine you threw bleach on my eyes. Now, after I've been there for a month, I may not be very comfortable with the layout of my house just yet to really blindly go get a knife. And then the timeline was so small with all of those stab wounds that you're telling me that this lady had time to go get a knife and then you got it from her and then you started stabbing her all the time? Girl, the math ain't mathing to me, but that's just me. But, and then you want to claim self-defense? Girl, you was in my house with bleach and you attacked me. And then you stabbed me 30 to 60 times. At what point was this self-defense? The math ain't math and the algebra ain't algebra and the geometry ain't geometry. And nothing of this shit is adding up, like, at all. Because she could have just shut the fuck up because it's free, right? She could have. But again, she's young and dumb, clearly. You cannot pull to somebody's house like you're auditioning for WWE Newark edition and then holler self-defense when the shit goes left. That's not how this shit works. Now, she did have to, Teshy Doll told him about her cousin Aaliyah, and Aaliyah gets arrested too. Remember, this little girl's only 15. But she's still old enough to know right from wrong. So, but she gets to go to juvenile court because she's a minor, but she's still way too young to be throwing her life away behind somebody else's relationship drama. And you would think that even at 20, you would not drag your teenage cousin into this. Never mind. Just never freaking mind. So we're just going to go ahead and fast forward to the trial because Nadiyah is sitting in adult court and Aaliyah is headed to juvenile court. But both of them are sitting down on murder charges. And while all of this is happening, let me go back. So while Nadiyah is sitting in, good old adult jail county waiting, Aaliyah is being handled through juvenile court, and both of them are staring down murder charges along with other things. And while all of this is happening, ShaRon's family is planning a funeral. Now, this next part really punched me in the chest because ShaRon was laid to rest on Ken's 40th birthday. Now, y'all know I done drag Ken up and down this episode, and I'm not done. I'm not. But for 1 second, just one, can you imagine on your 40th birthday, instead of celebrating you're burying the mother of your children, the woman you spent years with, the woman your babies have to live without now? 3 children have lost their mother. 1 child is sitting in jail pregnant, and another child is sitting in juvenile detention. All because of this started. And all of this started because a grown man couldn't keep his life straight and a bunch of people made decisions they can never take back. Because on my 40th birthday, I have all types of plans. I have over the top, my super sweet 40 birthday plans. I got a trip to St. Lucia, and I could not imagine having to bury somebody that I loved over my bullshit on my birthday. That's not the way you want to start your next chapter. But Ken. But look, we just getting started. So we're going to fast forward to 2013, June, and it's finally time for trial. Now, somewhere between getting arrested and going to trial, Nadiyah gives birth. And I ain't got no clue what happened to that baby. We know it was a little girl. But that's all. That's legit all we know. There were no records, interviews, no family statements. There was no custody information. Like, I looked. It was just like that child disappeared from public records. Now, if Ken raises that baby, ain't nobody said nothing. But I don't think that's the case because they said that ShaRon's boys ended up with her family after she passed away. So I ain't exactly convinced Ken was out here collecting children like Pokemon cards. That's just me. I could be wrong. Now, Aaliyah had already been handled in juvenile court. Little sis took a plea deal. And part of that plea meant she had to testify against her cousin. And baby, she folded Nadiyah up like a lawn chair. Aaliyah still stood 10 toes down. She was like, I ain't stabbed that lady. Nadiyah did, period. She also claimed she didn't even know all the tea between Nadiyah and ShaRon until that day. Now, whether y'all believe that is between y'all and Black Jesus, and I'm just telling you what she said. But again, why are you taking your 15-year-old? You should have a little bit more sense than that. I'm just telling y'all what was said, though. Now, when trial starts, it was the assistant prosecutor. Her name was Purva Deshpande, and she came in and she was ready to cook. She was not there to play. She didn't want to hear that Nadiyah was young. She wasn't trying to hear about her heartbreak or her goddamn pregnancy. She was like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Her position was simple. You playing this. That was it. This was murder. Full on, full stop. We don't want to hear nothing else. And baby girl, this baby had to testify. She was 13. And this baby had to get on the witness stand and relive the worst day of her life because grown folks couldn't act like they had a lick of damn sense. She explained that, she opened the door, she watched her mom get attacked, running for help, calling her dad, and then living the rest of her life with those memories. That baby deserves so much better. Then, y'all know they had to call Ken's raggedy, dumbass, frog face ass to the stand. Now, Ken got on his ass on that witness stand and basically told the jury that Nadiyah knew he was married the entire time. And he claimed he had always planned on going back to ShaRon. Always, always, always. And I damn near choked because if that's true, then why are we living with an 18-year-old? And why are we making babies and playing house and paying bills? And why are we doing all this husband cosplay if you already knew where your ass wanted to be? And this is why this man makes my ass itch. Because every time he talks, I got 3 more questions. Now, when it was Nadiyah's turn to testify, baby, the prosecutor beat her ass like she owed her money. At one point, she basically said, quote, "You watched this woman bleed. You heard her begging. You heard her calling for her grandmother. You knew she was dying, and then you left." I mean, what exactly did you say after that? Because there's no comeback for that. There's no Uno reverse card for that. Like, the woman was bleeding to death. Her babies were there and watching. And after you did what the fuck you did, you got up and left. Then Nadiyah, she started changing her story. Because remember when she got arrested, she was one who said that she did the stabbing. Now all of a sudden, I ain't do that shit. That wasn't even me. For real, I had just told him that because I didn't want nothing bad to happen to my cousin Aaliyah. Girl. Now you found honesty after trial started? Then she claimed she only went over there because she needed money and her phone was off and we know her life's about to get cut off. She needed help. And I get that. But there was nobody else you could have called or even went to their house and got some money. You couldn't have got a payment plan, gone on a payment plan. This is the part about being an adult that's hard. When things get hard, you have to learn how to make grown-up decisions. But murder is not a grown-up decision. It has grown-up consequences, though. Then she said that it was really the police they were threatening her. They threatened to take her baby and put her baby in DYFS custody. And that's why she said what she said. Prosecution was like, "Hold up, roll that tape. Because we got this on tape." They had a video of her being read her Miranda rights. They had a video of the interview of her talking, video of her doubling down. And even with all this evidence, that girl is up on that stand talking about that man said he was never going to leave me. I was his woman. It was me. He was not going back to ShaRon. The delusion of it all. She said Ken was coming back because that's my man, boo. He was coming back. And for real, that might be the saddest part of this whole damn trial because it sounded like everybody knew that relationship was over but her. She done had 3 years to sit in jail. You've lost your freedom. You've lost your baby. And you're still in denial? I done been young and dumb and in love before, but I ain't never been that goddamn delusional now. Now, June 27, 2013 is when the case is headed over to the jury. They go out. I don't even think these niggas order lunch. Because they was only gone for 2 hours before they came back with a guilty verdict. That's not even enough time to watch Titanic. 2 hours guilty on murder, burglary, conspiracy, weapon charges across the board, guilty. Then on September 27, 2013, the judge sentenced Nadiyah to 55 years in prison. 55 years at 23 years old. The judge basically said, "Yo, that's you may as well just giving the girl life." And while she was shipped off to the Etna Mahan Correctional Facility, how about this girl never even made it to an appeal? Because on July 1st, 2014, this is where the story gets weird as fuck. This girl died. And the jail wouldn't even publicly say how she died. it was just under investigation. Now, her mom later said that she was told that Nadiyah suffered a seizure, but according to Nadiyah's family, she had no history of seizures. She didn't have any neurological issues or anything. And then the family member said that Nadiyah had been writing letters saying that she was scared and that people were out to get her. Now, whether that was true or not, I don't know. But shit, you in jail, you never know. But I do know that her family wasn't buying that official story. So they hired attorney William Straza, who immediately started demanding answers in a full investigation. There were allegations that correctional officers may have been using excessive force before she died. But look, y'all, the craziest part, there was nothing. There was no big public conclusion, no answers, no neat ending, no here's what happened. We still don't know how that girl died. They just said it was a seizure and they said case closed. That was it. And at the end of all this, ShaRon is dead. Nadiyah is dead. 4 children get to grow up without their mother. Aaliyah threw away years of her life because we don't know. They didn't say how exactly what her plea deal, maybe because it was in juvenile or what she pled down to. But yeah, she threw away years of her life. And well, Ken still breathing. I'm sure he found him a new bitch and moved on with life. And if that don't piss you off, I really don't know what will. I don't know. I didn't even bother to look up that man trying to figure out what the fuck he was. I really didn't care. Now, Aaliyah, I did find her. She seems to be doing good. She got a little boy and a little girl. I really would love to have found out what happened to Nadiyah's daughter. But this case was just very weird because there was no appeal. Like, there was not a lot of information to find. Everything I had to find was really through articles. But the fact that Nadiyah died was just very strange that's very suspect to me because it says she was healthy. Nothing was wrong with her. And all of a sudden she has a seizure and she dies. The math ain't math in there either. Now, that is the story of Nadiyah Venable and ShaRon Moens and a raggedy ain't piece of shit frog face ass man named Ken Jones. So today's vibe check song was Jasmine Sullivan, Bust the Windows. I need y'all to tell me if it fit the vibe check because I definitely think you fit. Definitely think you fit. So before I go for y'all, the cousins in the podcast group in Love Lies and Alibis over on Facebook asked me to do a short, quick story time. So the other day I was scrolling through Facebook and my cousin had posted something about she had to go sit down and do some time. And I was like, I remember thinking, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna circle back to that, but I'd be so busy. I had forgot about it. So, family be messy. I get a text from my older cousin, like, and it's all it is a link to the Ohio mugshot page. And it's my cousin that I saw. Her name is Monique. I was like, oh shit, I forgot to go look back. So my cousin's like, so all I saw was drug charges and drug trafficking and drug abuse. And I remember a couple years ago, my mom had said that her house had got raided because she actually lives. So 2 of my cousins live on the same street as my mother. One lives they both live like across the street. I don't know why, but they all live on the same street. And her house had got raided a couple years ago. So I had never heard nothing else after that. So of course my nose, yes, I had to go digging into her case. But before I get to that, when I posted the post, I was like, damn, it be your own family that end up on the damn smack page. I was like, it's crazy. It's just crazy to me how she sells drugs and my aunt, her mom was on crack forever. Like, y'all, okay, don't judge me, but y'all ever seen a fat crackhead? Because I never knew fat crackheads. My auntie, she was a fat crackhead, right? It was the weirdest thing ever to me. But anyway, my auntie ended up passing away. She didn't die from a crack overdose. She had been on crack for like 30, 40 years, but she did not die from a crack overdose. No, she died because she choked on a hot dog and died. It wasn't a crack that took her out. It was a hot dog. Craziest situation ever. It was in 2020. It was literally the week before. So I remember, I don't know how exactly it happened, but apparently she choked on a hot dog. She was in a coma for like a week and a half, and then they had to take her off the ventilator. It was crazy because then my cousins, she didn't have a funeral, but she had a repast. And I remember I ended up buying a cake before the repast. And it was literally the Friday before they shut the world down. And y'all know black people. It was hood. I can't even hold y'all. It was hood. It was you know how it is when black people die, but it was hood. They had the backdrops. Everybody was posing like we was in the 2000s, and it was wild. But yeah, my auntie didn't die of crack. She died of she choked on a hot dog and died. And the craziest part about it was folks in our family didn't even know how she died until years later. Like I think like last summer I was talking to my older cousin, and she's older. Like I mean, I think she's in her 70s, and she was like, I don't even know how the conversation got brought up, and she was like, wait a minute, she died from a hot dog? She like, why? I thought she died from crack. I said, no, y'all, she died because she choked on a hot dog and died. Craziest thing ever to me. Like, you was smoking crack all them years, and it was a hot dog that took you out the game. That's a goddamn shame. But anyway, back to my cousin. So I started looking, y'all know me, I'm Detective Lightskin. This is what I do. So I'm digging through her. Man, they hit this child with about 10 charges. Like, I was like, girl, what the hell do you got going on? So her case started back in 23. It looked like they raided her house on what is it? On sweet Jesus, Halloween 23. They raided her house. And then it was very confusing because she was only in jail for a day, but it says they didn't do a bond until 25. And I had Chi look into it, and she was like, that's very odd and confusing because you only got one, you were only in jail for a day. Anyway, the girl had about 10 charges, drug trafficking. She was a felon before because she has done time for drugs before. She having a weapon under disability, child endangerment. She has like, they literally here with like 10 charges, but I guess when she went in that day, she went ahead and took a plea deal. So she has 3 to 4.5 years, which I don't even know what's going to happen to her daughter because she just went in on the 2nd, June 2nd. So I don't deal with my mother in any form, capacity, anything. Most people in my family don't either. But apparently I found out through the grapevine that she had asked my mother to take her daughter on. So I think her daughter's like 7 or 8. So I don't even know who has her daughter. Because most of my family, honestly, my grandmother has 7 kids. Four of them are dead. My grandmother passed away. Half of them were crackheads. My other aunt, so it's only my mom, my oldest aunt, she's 80. My mom is she'll be 69 this year. And then her sister is 70 and she's still on crack. Like, yeah, imagine you being 70, still on smoking crack. Wild. So there's and then her brothers. Okay, so and then that was the auntie that, like I said, she was strung out for a really long time. Like, I remember hearing stories about she would have kids and just drop them off at the hospital. So we don't even know like all her kids, but it was only like 3 of her kids that I actually grew up. No, 4 of them that I actually grew up knowing. And none of them are really the most upstanding citizens either. So yeah, I have to find out what happened to her daughter. Cause I mean, that's just a lot for anybody to take on for 3 to 4.5 years. That's a lot. And they said that there is absolutely no chance of getting on good behavior. Oh, and another thing is she was sentenced to the women's reformatory center. Y'all know who is in that center too. That little girl from the crash. I'm nosy and I want to know what's going on. So now I'm nosy. I'm gonna get some tea. But that is my little story time for today. And I hope y'all enjoyed this week's case. First and foremost, remember to, wherever you're listening, leave a 4. I'm sorry. Oh, Lord Jesus, do not leave a 4. Leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening to the episode. I have said it multiple times. If you have a complaint, you have a concern, or something of that nature, feel free to reach out to me. Last week, I got a very nasty review saying that they said that I was very disgusting and how I talk about other black women podcasters, and I talk down on them as disgusting. And I was truly baffled because I'm just like, I've never spoken badly on any other podcast. I was like, I only shout out the podcasters that I know and I tell y'all to stream them. So I don't know, maybe the person was listening to the wrong podcast and left it, because I'm like, I've never mentioned anybody, and if you know me, like, I want to see everybody win. I don't care who you are. If you black, I want you to win. if you're alive, I want you to win as long as you're not doing anything that's harming other people. I like to see everybody win. So that was just a very baffling review that I got, but whatever. So I would appreciate a 5-star review wherever you are listening. Like I said, if you have a question, complaint, concern, hit me up. And yeah, that's all I got. I don't know, for some reason, like this week was really a struggle for me to get an episode out. But it's here. This case was crazy. I really pray for those babies involved because the children are the ones who lost in this situation. And that's all I got for y'all. It is 10 a.m. on Sunday. I am about to go ahead and wrap this up, edit this, drop this for my subscribers Sunday morning. And I'm about to go to brunch and drink bottomless mimosas and go fall off into some bushes. So I hope that you all have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see y'all with the next episode. What's next? What's coming up next? One Bad Night comes up Saturday. And yeah, I'll see y'all next week. So hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, hearts break, but alibis don't. And if you come across an ancient nigga that's married, just let him keep on going about his business because he ain't coming with nothing but heartbreak. All right, now take care.
The most memorable gifts aren't found, they're made. Zazzle is a custom marketplace where you pick any product, a mug, a card, a tote, a phone case, and make it personal. A photo, a name, an inside joke. The kind of gift that actually fits the person. That's what 30 million customers have been coming back to Zazzle for over 20 years to find. Right now, save 25% on your first order at Zazzle.com. That's Zazzle.com. Make it zamazing.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.